we have these different parts of our brain that are responsible for different things. So let's start with the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is the oldest part of our brain, and it is in the back. It's in the spine, in the backbone, and it's the top. It's like a small bulb right at the base of our brain. The reptilian brain is responsible for automatic responses. It is instinctive. As an example, you're cooking something and you, by mistake, you touch the hot pan or pot. As soon as you touch it, without even thinking, your hand will just pull back. This is an automatic response. We need this part of our brain because its job is to keep us alive. Its job is pure survival. And the reason why they call it reptilian is because when you look at reptiles, if you look at a lizard as an example, as soon as you move closer to the lizard without even thinking will immediately run away. It will immediately move away. If you've ever seen a lizard before, any small movement will automatically make the lizard run because it doesn't think, it has to survive, and this part of its brain is responsible for that. It does not have a limbic brain, which is the emotional brain, and it definitely does not have the neocortex, which is the new part, which is the thinking brain. The reptilian brain is the one responsible for keeping us alive. And when we are in possible danger, the reptilian brain is the first part of our brain which will become active. The reptilian brain is directly connected to our nervous system. In our nervous system, the nerves are running down our backbone and all through our body, connected to all of our limbs, our hands and our legs. And it's why our movement is so fast. We do not process the movement if it's related to survival. It's just automatic. It just happens. The next part of the brain is called the limbic brain. The limbic brain is kind of in the middle. It is above the reptilian brain, and there are direct connections between the reptilian and the limbic brain. The limbic brain is a little bit newer than the reptilian. So when mammals started to occur, when we evolved into mammals, there was a development of this part of the brain because we became a little bit more complex. So as an example, monkeys have a limbic brain. They have feelings, they have emotions. We have talked about the amygdala before. The amygdala is part of the limbic brain. It's the part that processes emotions. And this part had to develop because it was not only about survival. We developed emotions so that we could have more complex interactions with other mammals. So for example, monkeys are quite social. They develop emotional bonds with other monkeys, with partners. They have friendships, they have agreements with each other. Their emotions help them to show each other whether they like each other, whether they are afraid of each other, whether they want to have sex with each other. The limbic brain was important for developing social animals or animals that live in groups. The relationship between the limbic brain and the reptilian brain. Example. The reptilian brain control survival. So if we see another animal and we think that that animal might be more dangerous, immediately we would run. But if we had a limbic brain, we could develop certain emotions that might help to protect us and that would allow us to survive without having to run away all the time or without having to fight all the time. If a monkey sees another monkey and the monkey thinks that this other monkey is dangerous and wants to fight, the monkey can develop certain emotions like anger. And so the anger comes up, the emotion of anger comes up in the monkey, and the monkey will do certain things. It might show its teeth, its muscles might become more tense, it might look very, very deeply, it might stare at the other monkey's eyes. And because its emotions come up and it is displaying its emotions, it's showing the other monkey its emotions, this might prevent the other monkey from fighting. If the other monkey feels like, okay, that monkey is very angry, and because they're very angry, they might become violent, they might be stronger than me, they might hurt me, I might choose not to fight in this situation. So we developed emotions also as a form of protection, as a new form of survival. By showing our emotions, we have a different way, a more complex way of surviving. Now, it's not always that just because the monkey is angry that the other one is not going to fight, but it can, in some situations, prevent fighting between mammals. So, situations that make us feel emotions will also allow us to show these emotions to other mammals and might help either with survival or even with, another example, with reproduction. If the female monkey shows the male monkey that she is attracted, that she is comfortable and happy with the male monkey, it's a display, because they don't really have language. Their emotions are meant to display, are meant to communicate something to the other mammals. If the female monkey communicates positive emotions to the male monkey, he might understand that this female wants me to mate, wants me to have sex or to reproduce with her. Similarly, if she shows negative emotions to a different male, then the communication is that she is not interested or she's not willing to mate or to reproduce with the other one. The neocortex. So as we mentioned earlier, the neocortex is the newest part of our brain, and in human beings, this is the most highly developed part. This is the part that is responsible for rationality and language. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have to translate, our emotions have to translate. There is a stronger connection between the limbic and the reptilian brain, and not a very strong relationship or not a very strong connection between these two parts and the neocortex, which is why we sometimes find it difficult to translate our emotions into rational language. We also notice that those two parts, the limbic and the reptilian, are much stronger because they're much more related to survival. I'm not saying that the neocortex is not. The neocortex is extremely important because it allows us to think about the past and the future. It allows us to think about advantages and disadvantages. It allows us to calculate before we decide what to do. But because it's the newest part of our brain, it has less control over our decisions. Only when the reptilian and the limbic brain are not very active can the neocortex work properly. So our emotions often do not help us, especially negative emotions, do not help us to make rational decisions, because when those two parts of the brain are active, the neocortex becomes less active. And the opposite is also true. If we want the neocortex to be more active, we have to calm, or we have to quieten the reptilian and the limbic part of our brains. So if you want to be more rational, one of the strategies that you have to learn is how to control the emotions, how to separate yourself from your emotions, how to wait for the emotions to pass before you can start thinking rationally, before you can make rational decisions.